dreams to reality. VM makes you all you can be. Yes, transform your everyday. Transform your everyday.
With pride for the past,
We build to the
the
future.
heights that you grow.
Give strength to the
We
roots.
believe in your freedom.
We dance when you move.
Dear members, I now call the meeting to order and extend a warm welcome to everyone gathered here, as well as our members online joining from all over the world. I am Michael McMorris, Chairman of the VM Group Limited, and as is customary, we will begin with a word of prayer. I invite VM Group's Chief of Staff, Natasha Reid, to lead us in prayer.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we are blessed to all be here today together on this special day. We're truly grateful for the continuous mercies you bestow on the VM Group, which has taken us through our 145 years. We seek your guidance for our special members meeting today, so that what is shared will be well received and understood. Bless the hearts and hands of everyone involved in the execution of today's meeting. Lord, we ask for your blessings on the VM Group, its valued members, our chairman and the board of directors, our president and CEO, the entire leadership team, and our special team members. Guide us, guard us, and help us to remain standing stronger together always. In your precious Son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Natasha. Beautifully done. At this time, I ask that a motion be moved for the notice of the meeting to be taken as read. Thank you. Moved by Director Courtney Campbell. May I have a second of the motion? Seconded by Director Philip Silvero. All in favor? Any against? Any abstentions? The ayes have it. I will now introduce the lead participants from the VM Group today. Mr. Courtney Campbell, immediately to my left, Group President and CEO. Mrs. Janice McKinley, Group Chief Financial Officer, to Courtney's left, and Ms. Kerry Brown, Corporate Secretary, at the end of the seating. The directors in attendance so far are Director Philip Silvera, Director Colin Wharf, Director Michael McAnuff-Jones. Welcome, gents. Where? I think that's it so far, but we're expecting others, of course. Directors joining virtually, I welcome you also. Members, we are happy to have you this afternoon for what we consider a very special occasion. The purpose of this meeting is to provide you, our valued members, with information on all activities executed since the last VMBS AGM in relation to the scheme of arrangement. It's also to outline the transition to the new VM Group and provide information on our financial position as it stands at the end of the year. Members, given the group restructuring exercise and the establishment of VM Group Limited, which you now own, we will have our first annual general meeting of VM Group Limited in 2024. We are, of course, accountable to our members and believe in full transparency in all we do. So we decided to call this special members meeting at a time we would normally have the AGM, to ensure that you still have the opportunity to engage directly with us, to receive the updates on your VM, and to ask any questions or raise any concerns you may have. We are quite pleased that you have answered our call and have turned up today, personally and virtually. Let's take a look back at the journey that has led us here. Do we have a slide? So, on August 9th, 2022, the first public AGM for for Victoria Mutual Building Society was held. The final, I'm sorry. I'm like, well, I know we're 145 years old. So how does that work? How does the math work there? Okay, no STEM for me. Okay, so our final meeting was held August 9th, 2022. The AGM was held to approve the scheme of arrangement to launch the new corporate structure, VM Group Limited, VM Financial Group Limited, VM Innovations, and the conversion of VMBS to a subsidiary of VM Financial Group. KPMG was appointed independent scrutineer to observe and report on the voting process by members. The voting results that you see on the screen were 216,223 for the restructure, equivalent to 99.995%, and 11 against the restructure, a percentage of 0.005%. Proxy votes held by the chairman and president were 215,585 of that amount. The results were published as follows on the VM Group website. The results were published on the following platforms: VM Group website, the Gleaner, the Jamaica Observer. Thank you to all members for supporting the scheme of arrangement. This has set the VM Group on a new growth path. It has also enabled the VM Group to serve Jamaicans for another century and beyond. After securing votes, we complied with the legal process. We reported to the court the activities and decisions approved at the AGM. On November 24th, 2022, the Supreme Court issued the formal order approving the scheme of arrangements. We registered the following new entities after approval by the court: VM Group, incorporated on February 1, 2023, and VM Financial Group, incorporated on February 1, 2023. The corporate structure now includes 3 new holding companies: VM Group Limited, VM Financial Group, and VM Innovations Limited. VM Group is the ultimate parent of VM Financial Group and VM Innovations. And there you have a diagram that sort of highlights. VM Group is a mutual organization owned by you, the members, and is governed by rules based on the principles of mutuality. All members' rights and benefits of VM The board memberships of VM Group and VM Financial Group are shown in the following chart. Well, that's the structure. There we go. The name change of the entities were undertaken in keeping with the rebranding of the VM Group. Victoria Mutual was replaced with VM in the legal name of entities. Now, to govern this, we have introduced a strong corporate governance structure for VM Group. The main committees of the board are as follows: the Audit Committee, Corporate Governance, Nominations and Compensation Committee, and the Digital and Information Technology Committee. Key responsibilities of the VM Group Audit Committee are to oversee integrity of the financial reporting functions and the financial statements, and to receive reports on adequacy and effectiveness of internal controls. Key responsibilities of the Corporate Governance, Nominations and Compensation Committee are to implement those corporate governance policies and standards, to ensure that the board has the necessary and requisite skills and experience to lead the group, to assess and update the compensation for directors, and to ensure that there is robust succession planning for the appointment of new directors. With the VM Group Digital and Information Technology Committee, the responsibilities are to oversee digital transformation, oversee the IT governance framework, and to monitor the effectiveness of the IT governance practices. Slide. Are we moving on from there? The subsidiaries the subsidiaries and board memberships are outlined in the following charts for VM Building Society, VM Money Transfer Services, VM Investments, and VM Wealth Management. Also, VM Pensions Management, VM Finance, and VMBS Overseas UK. So we're looking at VM Finance and VM Overseas UK here, with the chairman Matthew Wright for Finance and Noel Han for VM Overseas UK. And here we have investments and wealth management, chaired by myself, and VM Pension, chaired by Michael McAnuff Jones. VM Building Society has a new chair in Director Brian Golson, who is now here. Brian, thanks for coming. Who has a seat in the front but elects to sit in the second row. But Brian chairs both VM Building Society and VM Money Transfer Services Limited. So I want to thank all the directors who are serving on these boards. It's a very, very important role and job, and my personal thanks as well as the thanks of the group also. Now, the following are the major milestones in the VM Group restructuring journey. So on March 17th, 2022, we had an invitation from BOJ to apply for the FHC license. The formal order was heard on July 5th, 2022, and the final hearing was on November 4th, 2022. We submitted the application for the license to Bank of Jamaica on October 28th, 2022, and had an additional submission after dialogue on December 16th, 2022. We incorporated the VM Group on February 1st, 2023, and the VM Financial Group on the same date, and made the transfer to VMFG, VM Financial Group, on February 1st, 2023. So, what are the next steps? Well, our first objective is to strengthen the capital of all the operating subsidiaries to ensure that we can maintain the continuity and drive that we have developed over time, the momentum. And so that's our primary objective. We are also awaiting Bank of Jamaica approval for the licensing of the VM Financial Group. So this, we make the application and await their response. We are confident, Courtney, that we will be receiving our license, but of course it's entirely up to the Bank of Jamaica, and we look forward to their engagement. And then lastly, we would be able to then have our first AGM for the VM Group on May 2024. So that's it. Thank you for your attention, members. That's just giving you a recap and an understanding of where we are today, and in terms of our governance structure. Now, for our performance, I'm going to invite our CEO and President, Courtney Campbell, to provide details on this. Courtney.
Thank you very much, Chairman. And hopefully you have all received a copy of that special report that was published. So, Chairman of the VM Group and VM Financial Group, first time I'm saying that publicly, Mr. Michael McMorris, directors of the VM Group, thanks to all of you for your dedication and wise guidance over the past year. And I also should stop to thank all the executives and the team members of the VM Group. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your purposeful commitment to the VM Group. And valued members and clients of the VM Group, thanks for your strong loyalty to VM and for allowing us the privilege of serving you. We deeply appreciate your partnership. And I would say further that you inspire us every day to be customer obsessed. Welcome to this special members meeting of the recently incorporated VM Group. It is the first meeting of the members of the VM Group in this new era of VM's history. As our chairman has explained, this meeting has been convened to report to you on the implementation of the scheme of arrangement that was approved by the Supreme Court of Jamaica in November 2022, and to provide information on the financial position of the VM Group. So today's presentation is to provide you with a brief reminder of the composition of your VM Group, some highlights of the operating environment and how it impacts our business, and very importantly, how we have transformed our revenue base and our brand. we will close with a brief look at some of our exciting plans for the future. Our restructuring exercise has been substantially completed, as you just heard, with the establishment of the new mutual holding company, VM Group, in which you now have your membership. Now, the VM Group owns 3 entities, and we're repeating it because we want to ensure that you get it. That's why we advertise some of our products every morning and every newscast and every evening in the newscast, so that people remember. So when VM Group owns directly 3 entities: VM Financial Group, VM Innovations, that's the holding company for the non-financial section of our group, and the VM Foundation. The new financial holding company, VM Financial Group, therefore a subsidiary of VM Group, is the immediate parent of all the financial services entities in the group. And as you know, we have converted the VM Building Society to now be a proprietary building society wholly owned by VM Financial Group. So the VM Group is now a strong, integrated financial group focused on empowering our people to achieve financial well-being. In 2022, our geographic coverage expanded to include Trinidad and Tobago through our affiliate Caroland. So Caroland now has operations in Barbados, Jamaica, and Trinidad and Tobago. The highlights of our financial position as at December 31, 2022 shows that we had net assets of on-balance sheet assets of $199 billion, almost $200 billion, capital and reserves of $22.5 billion, deposits of $134.79 billion, growth of 13.88% over 2021, loans of $112 billion, growth of 9% over the previous year, operating revenue of $12.8 billion, and a net surplus of $3.3 billion, which I have to point out includes $1.2 billion from the extinguishment of dormant deposits, dormant for greater than 15 years, as approved by the Central Bank and the Supreme Court, and of course the members in that scheme of arrangement. The economic outlook going forward is uncertain, and we are performing against the background of financial sector turmoil overseas, high inflation everywhere, the ongoing effects of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and what some of us are calling 3 years of COVID-19. The IMF's most recent forecast is for global growth to fall from 3.4% in 2022 to 2.8% in 2023, before settling at 3% in 2024. Notwithstanding a downward trend in headline inflation to 5.8% in April, the Bank of Jamaica's Monetary Policy Committee at its meetings on the 17th and 18th of May 2023 unanimously agreed to continue to hold the policy interest rate, which is the rate offered to deposit-taking institutions such as VMBS, on overnight placements with the Bank of Jamaica. They agreed to hold that rate at 7% to maintain tight Jamaican dollar liquidity and to foster relative stability in the foreign exchange market. The Bank of Jamaica's view is that although the incoming data were generally positive, the inflation rate may temporarily rise again above the bank's inflation target range over the next 3 to 4 months. And this is due to recent increases in the cost of communication services, the increase in the national minimum wage, seasonally higher agricultural prices, as well as pending increases in other regulated prices such as transport costs. So the Monetary Policy Committee of the BOJ was satisfied that its monetary policy actions since October 2021, before that, the policy rate was 0.5%. That rate, that is now 7%. But they are satisfied that the measures implemented since October of 2021 have been effective in achieving their objectives, but noted the need to maintain the policy stance until inflation is firmly contained within the 4 to 6% corridor. Based on global consensus forecasts for a fall in commodity prices and the Bank of Jamaica's overall monetary policy stance, and in the absence of new shocks, because we don't know what may be ahead, inflation is projected to generally trend back towards the bank's inflation target range of 4 to 6% by the December 2023 quarter. All central banks across the world have had to be mindful of recent turmoil in the overseas banking sector and the challenges posed by the interaction between tighter monetary and financial conditions. The good news locally is that as recently as February of this year, the International Monetary Fund reported that Jamaica's financial system remains well capitalized and liquid. Capital adequacy of deposit-taking institutions was at about 14% in September 2022, which is well above the regulatory minimum of 10%. The non-performing loan ratio for the industry was at 2.5%, which was well below the 5-year pre-pandemic average. The Bank of Jamaica is finalizing arrangements to implement the Basel III capital requirements under Pillar 1 and have actually revised the definition of regulatory capital, all with a view to strengthening the sector. So these are challenging times indeed, but we have been in the VM Group successfully transforming our business to become stronger. Over the last 5 years, we have transformed our revenue base through growth in our core businesses, introducing new products and services, entering new markets, and targeting new business segments. And of course, we have launched new business lines and new business models. As a result, our operating revenue grew by 97% in the last 5 years, including growth of almost 17% in 2022 versus 2021. We are now less reliant on net interest income, which share of total revenue has been consistently declining since 2017. It used to be over 60%. Last year it was 45%. In 2022, we recorded strong growth of 9% in loans, 13.87% in deposits, 19% in remittance transactions. In fact, our loan portfolio grew by 154% since 2017, and our deposit portfolio by 75%. Our remittance transaction volume, I believe I saw Michael Howard coming in, has more than tripled over that period. As a result of these efforts to transform our revenue base, we can proudly declare, if you look at this particular slide, that VM has gained market share in every key business line in the last 4 years. So with loans and deposits, congrats to Peter Reid and Paul Elliott and the entire team in what we used to call the Building Society operations, and which is now VM Building Society. They've grew faster than the market during this period. In the unit trust business, we congratulate those who have led VM Wealth Management, Devon Barrett before and now Res Burchinson, for the market share growth in the unit trust business. In pensions, between Rez and Conroy and now Natalie Bennett, we have grown faster than the market as well, grown market share. And in remittances, Michael Howard and his team, look what they have accomplished since 2018. Well done again. This is solid evidence that our team members have been customer obsessed and results focused, and that our sales management and relationship management practices have been increasingly effective. Congratulations to all executives, because the support services, Judith in customer and brand and Kerry Gay in legal compliance and risk, for example, and the operations team and the IT teams have all played significant roles in making this happen. And of course, our finance team, right, Debbie and Janice, right, it's been a really great example of collaboration to generate this growth. In 2022, we implemented some important initiatives as part of our ongoing transformation. A partnership with Canopy Insurance to offer life insurance coverage to members of the VM Group. Our first 2 credit card products, Visa Gold and Visa Platinum. Our online business banking solution, which allows our business customers the convenience of effecting a wide range of transactions, including local bank transfers and international wires. If you're a business customer and you currently do business with VM and you do not have our online banking facility, please ask about it this evening and register and do your transfers, pay your staff, pay your suppliers, pay your overseas suppliers via wire transfer. It's so much more convenient than the way you're doing it now. We also made significant progress in obtaining regulatory approval to complete the acquisition of Republic Funds Barbados. And we expect to complete this transaction by the end of 2023, right, Rez? And the acquisition of Republic Funds Barbados is meant to be only a first step in our journey to expand the asset management business in the Eastern Caribbean. It is what we call our beachhead in the Southern Caribbean. Whenever we speak of new business lines introduced in the last 5 years, we are compelled to mention the tremendous success story of VM Finance in the UK. This business launched a specialized property lending business to experienced UK developers in mid-2018. And in 2022, just 3.5 years later, generated revenue of, in pounds, 3.39 million, net profit of 1.3 million pounds. The loan portfolio is currently in excess of 53 million pounds. Congratulations to Leighton Smith and to Andrew Evans and the entire VM Finance team. To Clive Newman, who heads our credit risk function here and who has given tremendous support. And of course, the board of VM Finance for their invaluable support and guidance. We recently secured funding, as you'll read in the book, from a top UK bank, NatWest, to enable us to double this portfolio over the next 18 months. A new business model was developed and launched last year in PropMan, a groundbreaking digital property and community management tool developed by our fintech and proptech subsidiary, VM Innovations. Now, PropMan is an innovative, full-service digital property management tool designed to make it easy for property owners to manage their homes and investments. From security arrangements to account tracking and management, PropMan covers a range of complex property and strata management tasks, so owners can focus on enjoying their property. Over 3,000 residents are now using PropMan. And the VM Innovations team, led by Maurice Barnes, is now working to expand the PropMan suite in line with market demand. And so I'm going to encourage you, those of you who live in apartment complexes, townhouse complexes, gated communities, please speak with Alison Morgan, who is our acting CEO of VM Property Services Limited. Alison and her team and the VM Innovations team will be happy to tell you more about how you can access PropMan. And the VM Innovations team are now far advanced in preparation for the launch of the exciting Turnkey platform. This really turnkey platform is our mortgage ecosystem that is designed to facilitate the bold vision of people completing a home purchase with the end-to-end process being effected entirely online. So we have transformed our revenue base. We have also transformed our brand. In November 2021, we introduced new brand elements that have been well received by members and the wider public. And these major external changes conveyed the message that VM had undergone significant transformation and that this was very much an ongoing exercise. And as Judith pointed out, even before we did this brand transformation, it was really to send the message that we have done some things such as introduce new products and introduce new channels, but this work is ongoing. So we have continued to improve our systems and processes, strengthened our enterprise risk management framework, invested in reskilling and upskilling our people. We have expanded our touch points. Last year, VM Money Transfer introduced 3 new Money Express centers. And in VMBS, we relocated our Falmouth branch. We have also made another bold move with our digital transformation strategy. Over the last 5 years, your VM, we have invested over $3 billion in software implementations. The execution by our digital transformation, ICT, operations, and PMO teams has been strong, and the digital adoption rate by our team members has been high. This has resulted in the percentage of services available digitally increasing from less than 20% a few years ago to now 71%. And we are pleased that 88% of all transactions done by our new members are being executed on our digital platforms. We will continue to invest in digital because our vision is to move from doing digital to being digital. All this transformation is grounded in our purpose. What is our purpose? To empower our members globally to achieve financial well-being. We recognize that the key to empowerment is knowledge. So VM has been the undoubted leader in providing financial education, and we do that because we care. We're also holding ourselves accountable for significantly increasing the number of people actively engaged in improving their financial well-being through VM. So we're pleased that the growth in our active members was 71% greater in 2022 than the previous year. We're also extremely proud of the work of our VM Foundation and of the level of engagement demonstrated by our team members. The VM Foundation impacted over 76,000 lives in 2022, and it is important to note that our team members donated $3.2 million to the work of the foundation. They volunteered to support foundation programs, and our team members led 20 community initiatives that received financial support from the foundation. So the energy from our team members is very much there. Some highlights of the 2022 programs implemented by the VM Foundation include the inaugural Financial Wellness and Parenting Expo at our adopted St. Jago Park Health Center in November, the digitalization of the application platform for the Foundation Scholarship Program, VM Scholars, which contributed to a substantial increase in the number of applicants. The number of applicants in 2022 was 55% greater than 2021. It moved from 139 to 215. In 2022, the VM Foundation provided a record $6 million in new scholarships and over $3 million in recurring scholarships. We finalized an agreement with the National Land Agency that will see the foundation providing grant funding to individuals who voluntarily seek to register land for the first time. And this is a significant move in the promotion of financial inclusion. And we expect to assist over 400 beneficiaries over 3 years with registering titles for their land. The foundation, the VM Foundation, your VM Foundation, will provide $30 million in funding to assist applicants in offsetting the costs to survey their land. And it will put them in a position to unlock the value in their properties. We encourage all members of VM to support the work of the VM Foundation. We are advancing financial literacy in Jamaica and overseas. And we are doing so through impactful programs in youth development, community development, and parenting. Other key performance indicators, of course, are our Net Promoter Score, which quarterly, in fact monthly now, We test the loyalty of our members and clients. It remained stable last year at 52. This is a good score when compared with global averages in the financial sector, but we are aiming to take it even higher. Our team engagement score was also high at 75%, and we are particularly pleased with the 83% participation rate. Based on the empowerment work that we have done for our team, our communities, and the work that we have done to bring relevant education and solutions to our members and clients, we are encouraged that VM continues to be recognized internationally. So, and there are some of the awards won last year. So we look to the future with a great degree of confidence and excitement. We're focused for the future on a few key areas that I'll quickly share with you. Firstly, we wish to ensure that your VM group is resilient enough to withstand any global or local shocks in the future, and that we have fuel to support our ambitious growth plans. Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you. Thank you, Peter. And Julie. Oh, right here. Thanks. Great. And we have a digitally enabled podium. So I am pleased, and I had to drink some water before this one, I'm pleased to announce to the members of VM that the VM Financial Group has successfully raised $11 billion from accredited investors via an exempt distribution of preference shares. And it was a really great team effort. Our Chief Investment Officer, Devon Barrett, our Group Sales Officer, where's Conroy? Conroy Rose, our Deputy CEO, Peter Reed, Kerry Gay, our Chief Legal Compliance and Risk Officer, our CFO, Janice, and of course, Paul, who is the Business Society, and Rez Burchinson, who was the broker, the entire team though, all the branch managers, financial service specialists, wealth advisors in VM Wealth played a significant role in this achievement, and I really personally want to applaud them all, and I invite the members to join me for this excellent job. Now, these funds will be fully subscribed. We asked for 11 billion, we've had to turn back some people, right? So these funds will be injected to strengthen the capitalization of our key operating subsidiaries and to support our expansion plans. Now, having completed our reorganization and secured this additional capital, we go to the second move. We will now be in a better position to execute on partnership opportunities across the region. We will start by completing VMIL's acquisition of Republic Funds, Barbados, and then target larger deals locally and regionally. The target transactions will be in our core business segments of deposit taking and loans, asset management, pension fund management, and remittances. Over the next 3 years, we will significantly expand our payment services with the phased rollout of the full suite of card products for personal segments, all personal segments, and the business customers. We have already launched VM Visa Gold and Platinum credit cards. So the cards in our roadmap include international debit, classic credit cards, and the business cards, among others. Of course, Paul would want me to tell you that we will utilize the latest available technology to deliver the greatest convenience to our customers. We will continue to diversify and integrate our service offerings across the VM group, led by VM Pensions. Is Natalie here? Natalie Bennett? No? Led by VM Pensions, we will aggressively promote financial inclusion by offering pension administration and pension investment management services, and of course, other services of the VM group to members of the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, the transport operators, and other professional bodies. VM Building Society will expand its business banking services and introduce FX trading at VM Money Express stores. So are you seeing the collaboration and the integration? The VM Building Society, led by Paul Elliott, is offering foreign currency trading through the Money Express tours run by Michael Howard. And that we're going to see more and more integration like that in the VM group. VM Investments Limited will continue to build our private equity business line. Having made a major push into private equity in 2022 with an investment in the food manufacturing company Home Choice Enterprises Limited, which, by the way, was in addition to similar investments done previously in Caroland, in which we own 30%, and Cold Bush Organics. We are excited about the potential benefits that PE investments could bring to our region. You know, we expect to see accelerated growth in business output from small and medium enterprises in Jamaica. And we expect to see, of course, accompanied by increased employment. VM Finance in the UK will introduce 2 new loan products to meet the needs of their development customers. The integration will be enhanced by a new group sales function that was introduced earlier this year and led by Conroy Rose, who will raise his hand. Finally, we will advance our digital transformation. And we're going to do that by strengthening our data analytics capabilities, implementing a robust data governance framework, and very importantly, this will be meaningful for all our customers who are trying to simplify, to have a simpler experience in starting new accounts with the VM Group. We plan to introduce a new group online onboarding solution. That means opening your accounts online with any entity in the VM Group from anywhere in the world at any time. We are excited about the great opportunities. We are excited about the great opportunities that VM Innovations, VM Property Services, and VM Building Society will collaborate to offer. Sorry, let me go through this. Did I say VM Property Services? Yes, all right, I need to repeat that. So we are excited about the great opportunities that VM Innovations, VM Property Services, and VM Building Society, I want to underscore the integration. 3 business units working together. And they're going to be collaborating to offer to potential homeowners through the mortgage ecosystem, what we call turnkey. It is going to bring together several stakeholders on a single integrated digital platform and provide members with full service options for all mortgage and other related services end to end across the customer buying process. So that's the last thing we will say for the time being in how we will advance the digital transformation. Members of the VM Group, your VM Group is well prepared for the future. We believe that we have a strong team. We are embedding a healthy learning culture, and we have the right strategies for success. Thank you for your loyalty and support. We look forward to continued opportunities to transform your everyday. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Courtney. It's always refreshing to hear, no matter how many times we hear it, it doesn't get old, even though we hear it at the the board level. We still like to see the presentations and listen to them and ensure that the members are abreast, because that's why we do what we do, is on behalf of the members, of you, the members. Let's see now. So I want to open the floor to any questions on either report. But before I do that, I want to also add my personal thanks to all the team members as well for what has been a really impressive performance coming out of COVID and into these these less than ideal times, I think we've done a good job. We've done a good job with the restructuring. So the board as well. The board is also very excited. Not just not just the CEO, but the board joins him in that excitement and looks forward to the future. So, questions? Yes. Could you identify yourself before you ask the question? I think the microphone. Oh, here we come. Here comes Clover with the microphone. How are we going to get down now? You can use that one. But, you'll see. Oh, it's here. Yes, okay. All right.
Please raise your hand. Oh.
Hi, good afternoon. My
Good
name
afternoon.
is Andrea Jackson Robinson.
Good afternoon.
So I commend VMBS in terms of the growth initiative that it has. It seems very diversified to minimize the risk. Now, speaking as a current member of VMBS, and I started with VMBS when I was in high school, based on the strategies that you had at the time. Now, as an adult, and I'm seeking home ownership, one of the statements Courtney made was obsessed about our customers. And the fact that you have increased your membership base by plus 70% and your net promoter score has not moved, for me, that is alarming because I know, for one, I would not promote VMBS based on my experience that I've had. So my question is, what action has been done or will be done to improve your net promoter score? That's one. And also, you mentioned as well that the loan portfolio grew by plus 150, over 150%.
Member portfolio. Okay. Over what period?
So the loan
Over 5
portfolio,
years,
the
yeah.
loan portfolio growth
Over
of
5
over
years.
150 plus. All right. So my question is to understand what has been the rate of potential default or clients defaulting over that time period as well. Because I'm struggling to understand why, after going through so many processes, meeting all the requirements that has been requested, getting the approval, I am not able to actually get the loan to actually fulfill the property according to the mission. So there is a disconnect for me, which suggests that something is fundamentally wrong with what is happening at VMBS, which is one of the reasons why I, for one, have made decision that I'm moving to Scotiabank. So that's two questions, and I hope I'm not overwhelming. So the third question is, so in the same breath that the market share has improved for VMBS, likewise your competitors' market share has improved. And one of the initiatives that Scotia has done recently is if you want to switch your loan, you don't pay the costs to switch. They will cover that for you. So have you done a comparison to see the rate of increase of your competitors' market share relative to your rate of increase? So that's my third question.
And final.
And I have one last question
All
for
right,
you.
well, okay.
And this is just,
I hope everybody's taking note. We're going to have a team effort to answer these questions, it seems.
that's right.
But go ahead.
Last question, and this is coming from the backdrop that I work for an organization of over 7,000 employees. And because you mentioned earlier that you will be partnering with Canopy Insurance, I know for my organization, we started with Canopy, and then based on the experience that we had to revert back to Sagicor. So have you done an assessment based on the feedback from not just Canopy, but also other clients that have used Canopy to understand what were some of the issues so that you don't experience for VMBS?
Okay.
And that is it.
Okay, thank you. So let me just start by saying thank you for being here, because obviously you have a choice, and you chose to be here. So I don't believe that you've quite fully migrated over to the competition. So I'm happy for that. I'm happy for that. And also to say that our net promoter score, which is actually very high in the market, the fact that it has remained high while we have grown our customer base is actually a positive. Now, we understand that all our members don't get the best experience. And that's an unfortunate thing. And we agonize over that. And we would obviously want to hear your specific issues off air to see if we can address them. But let's address the broader questions, and then we can tackle the individual questions, because every member is important. No matter how far you go away from us, we still want, you are still a member, and we therefore need to take care of you. So we're going to do that. But let's address the broader questions first. Turn to Courtney.
So let's go through them quickly. First question was NPS, which Chairman answered really. The truth is that 52 is a pretty high score when we compare with others locally as well as globally. We would want it to be higher. And every day we spend a lot of time as an executive team working through initiatives to improve that score. We have the feedback from our customers is reviewed by the executives. We also have a special committee chaired by me as the president and CEO, a customer experience steering committee, looking at the feedback from members on the digital channels and all our branches, all the business units, and we devise strategies, solutions to address those issues. We track for their implementation, and that's why many years ago, this same NPS was 30, low 30s, and it was gradually improved to the, as I said, 52. We're aiming to take that into the 60s and 70s. That requires lots of work on the ground by everyone, and we're all committed to that. Do we make mistakes? Yes. Do we get complaints? Yes. But we're holding ourselves accountable to listen to our members and clients and to respond to them and to use every complaint as an opportunity to improve our processes. That's our attitude. Right. When we get to 90 NPS, which is, in the stratosphere, we will most likely still get complaints at that time, and we will have the same attitude of learning. You heard what I said when I was closing. We're building a learning culture. So we're people who are committed to listening, learning, improving. So that's the NPS response. But as I said, we're pleased with the improvement. The second point had to do with the default rate. That really, wait, I'm gonna. This is a full toss for me. I love cricket because the good news, you'll be pleased to know, member, is that our non-performing score loans less than 2% of our portfolio, which is among the lowest, probably the lowest in the market. And it speaks to the quality of the people who are borrowing from us, we think, the quality of the origination being done by our sales team and the adjudication being done by Clive and his team. So, we're very pleased with that. During COVID, we were responsive to the needs of our members. Many asked for moratoria. We, 3 months, 6 months, we responded to that. All of those customers are now back on their regular schedule of debt servicing. So we're very, very pleased with how that has gone. And we're hoping that, truth is that having launched new products a few years ago, such as auto loans, that repayment history has remained strong as well. And we're hoping that the same will hold for our credit card business, of course. All right, next question.
So, difficulty in the loan approval process for you particularly, right? So we're going to deal with that. We wouldn't want to deal with that, out in the open.
So definitely. So I would underscore what the chairman said. We would not, in this, remember, we're sworn to customer confidentiality. So we'll never discuss an individual customer's application in a forum such as this. We'll speak with you offline. But what I would say is that one of the performance indicators that we track is the turnaround time for approvals as well as the turnaround time for disbursements having approved. And of course, there are several parties involved in that, such as the stamp office and titles office and external attorneys and so on. We track all of them and hold ourselves accountable for that. But that is something that the team, as I said, tracks very closely. As a senior team, we monitor that. And then the fourth item,
I think Paul
Canopy. Paul has something to add to that point.
So Paul is in charge of the Building Society, so he may want to say a couple of words.
How are you? Good. All right, I'm going to invite you to speak with me after this, all right? I am familiar with your matter, so I'll talk with you after this. All right?
Okay. And the final thing is kind of, well, do we track the competition? Yes. When we speak of market share growth, that's actually a proud figure for us because it means not that other competitors may not be growing at the same pace or faster, but that when we look at the overall growth in the market, our share of the market is greater. That means we have grown faster than the average growth in the market. So we're pretty satisfied, and that has come from the support of members like you. And probably if we retain your business, that it will help us with the market share growth, right? So, right? That's it.
One member at a time.
One member at a time.
Right?
Right?
Absolutely.
And the final thing is
Was Canopy.
Your Canopy. Canopy provides both health insurance and life insurance. What we are partnering with them to offer to our members at this point is life insurance. So I think you may have been speaking about health insurance.
Right.
So we can't speak to that experience as yet, and we're not there with them as yet. We're offering life insurance to our members through Canopy at this point. All right? Thank you.
Thank you, Courtney and Paul. Andrea will, as I said, we'll tackle the other parts, and then I'll get feedback from you. But, you know, obviously, we don't do everything our competitors do because our position is different from theirs. Our relationship with our members is different. So we will choose different strategies. What we want to ensure is that for our members, that's the right strategy. So, you know, it may look a little different, but we are very committed to doing what's right for our members. Okay, thank you. Let me take one from online. Everald Smith. Hello, member. And Everald says, please inform us of the source of lodging to accounts by providing us with the information of the business, individual, and interest on their accounts. Information of that. All right? Yeah.
So, sorry, the question is to inform us of the source of lodging. How can you lodge to accounts? And you can do that through RTGS and through ACH. A few years ago, VM joined the ACH network. And of course, you may send wires in from, if you're overseas, to your VM BS account. We are on the SWIFT system as well, right? So those are the main sources. I think there are some other points. If you could go back to Everald Smith's question for me. Quickly, 1 second. Information on the business, individual, and interest on the account. So the interest table is on our website. And if you call a member engagement center, right, Peter, they should have that information because the interest rates vary according to the amount, the tenure, and so on. So please contact us for that detailed information. Thank you very much.
Okay, let me take another online. Oh, you have a question there? Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't see you.
Robert Gibbs is the name. I want to
hello,
commend the board and management of VMBS for their sterling performance.
Thank you.
My question is, I can understand why you reference 2022 to 2021, but what I would have loved to see is 2022's performance against pre-COVID, probably 2019, bearing in mind that 2020 and 2021 were anomalies.
Sure.
In terms of COVID.
Well, I think we try to cover that by showing the 5-year growth because the 5-year growth picks up from the end of 2017. So we're comparing most of the information we had compared performance for the year ended December 2022 with 2017. So we're doing two comparisons at the same time versus 2021 and also versus 2017. So you could see a 5-year trend in performance. All
Page
right?
15 of the report
Yeah.
gives you that 5-year.
Yes. Thank you. Greg Jackson is asking, Chair, a question here. What is the most significant change that members will experience from the recent group restructure exercise of VM? So my answer to that will be no change whatsoever, actually, in terms of your experience doing business with VM. The benefits all remain the same. Your membership is now in VM Group. Your account is with VMBS, and your membership is with the VM Group. But all the benefits that you have in terms of free ABM transactions, free POS transactions, the great customer service that you receive from the warm and friendly VM people, all right? The lower interest rates on loans, the lower fees that you have, the better interest rates on savings accounts, especially our iSave product. Pardon me? Free ATM and point of sale, right? Yeah. All of those are retained under this new arrangement. What you have, though, is a potential for a much stronger group. And so, for example, the capital raise that we just had shows how this new structure will facilitate the growth and strengthening of the group. So we believe that that's a significant benefit to the members of VM.
Yeah, I think certainly the agility that comes from the structure may not be immediately apparent to everyday savers, but it makes a big difference. And the types of products that you're going to see us, to be able to present to you as an offering, I think you're going to be very, very pleased as we roll those out as well. Okay? Yes, ma'am. On my left.
Good afternoon, everyone. All protocols observed. My name is Beverly Gustav.
Hello, Beverly.
And I must commend the VM group for the extraordinary work that you're doing. I have seen all the changes. I am a member of VM Wealth, and I'm a member of VM BS. I also do business with VM Properties. So I'm a member for almost 40 years, but I have a little problem here. I heard you talk about the iSave accounts. Now, I have a VM iSave account. And when I joined that account, when I opened that account, I was told that it would be fixed for a year. And then I could just put funds in it accordingly. Now, I am retired, so when I retired, I decided to put a portion of my money in there. I took a check of about little over $900,000 to put in there. And I was told I could not do that because I have to put that money into another account and it would go to the account on a monthly basis. I found that very ridiculous because if I am paying $6,000 per month and I have a check of almost $1 million, how long is it going to take for that $6,000 to come out every month? So I am wondering, is it that it is fixed, or can you just, after the year, just put money in here if you want to build up your account? Because that was what I was doing, trying to build up my account. My other question is this. I been listening to everything that you're saying, and I appreciate everything that you have said, and I tell you, every time I come here, I get a warm feeling of upliftment, but when I go to the offices, that's something else. My experience is completely different. You understand? I don't know if other people have that experience, but that is my experience. So yes, when you go to the office, it's a different thing completely from what you see here. You feel warm and welcome here, and everything is okay and nice. But when you go into the office and you want to ask questions, sometimes you wonder, why am I here? You understand? My next question, however, is this. How can, if I am a member, and I heard you talk about properties and all of that, and if as a member, I would like to do an establishment of saying building an apartment, because I'm an architect, so I do drawing. So I'd like to establish an apartment. How can VM assist me financially in this venture? That's my question. Thank you very much.
Okay. Remind me of,
your
name.
Pardon?
Remind me of your name.
Beverly Gustav.
Beverly. Okay, Beverly. All right.
So, before you yes. Speak, sir, I just want to know what type of loan would be available to me and the interest on that loan. Thank you.
Okay. I need a whole day with you, but okay. So first, let me just say the savings account that you want, or there's probably another facility to get you what you want. The iSave is an account that you save. It's a purpose-driven account. So I save for home, I save for, and it's designed almost like a certificate of deposit. You put some money in and you can add every single month, and when you get to the time, you can move it to another instrument. So we'll find another savings account for you that's ideal for what you are trying to do. All right, and I'll direct you in the right way to get to the right persons to speak about that. Your experience, I thank you for the feedback. It's a gift. And to the extent that you have some experiences or sometimes it's not what you want it to be, I apologize for that. I'm going to speak with you after this. I'd love to know, where you go to and what specifically your experiences are. We aim to please, even if we have long lines, even if we have crowds in our offices, and you understand a month end, banks can look a little wonky and people going there for 2 and 3 hours. But certainly you should be able to speak with someone and then make a determination if you have the time, if it's a 40-minute wait, do you want to wait or do you want to come back, or be able to ask questions. So we'll talk about that. It's good news to hear you're an architect and looking to build. We're in that business. It's something that we can talk to you about. It will be a commercial development loan if you want to, you're talking about building. We won't discuss rates here, give away your business, but I'll speak with you after this, all right? But thank you so much for your questions, and I hope, kind of answered you in some way. All right, good.
Okay, thank you. Let me take first, sir, if you could hold a moment. Well, this is the same question. So
Yeah, no, the one at the top,
Right, yes,
says,
sir.
please
Right.
explain RTGS. But we'll go for you.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, please explain RTGS.
Can do it after.
Yes, okay.
Pleasant good afternoon.
Good
My
afternoon.
name is Lancel Bloomfield.
Yes, Mr. Bloomfield.
I'm a shareholder in VMI Held. I'm a customer at the Halfway Tree branch of VM Group.
Thank you for that.
Mr. Chairman, when you go to the Halfway Tree branch, they are friendly, courteous members of staff.
Glad to hear that.
I experienced that. But somehow, it takes forever to get anything done. Even on a day when you have pedestrian traffic entering the branch. I find the North-South Boulevard branch to be very fast, very efficient, also courteous. And I must tell you, sir, my parents had been doing business with VM Group for a long time from I was a child. And it is the best I have seen it over the years. There seems to have been touched by angels. There's just something magnificent that is going on. But the speed at the Halfway Tree branch need to be looked into.
Sure. Okay, thank you for that. We'll take note of that and look into it. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go back online. And just to let you know, as the room continues to fill up, we have 111 members online. So I want to welcome them as well, right? And we have directors online as well, and some new directors some directors who have joined us newly. Let me put it that way. Maya Waldron in the third row. And we acknowledge Brian already. So thank you for coming. Here we go. Andrea Moore says, good afternoon, everyone on team VM Group. Commendations to the VM Group on their continued growth. My concern is that the frequent technical challenges with the online banking. And yes, it is our concern as well. We manage that actively. We monitor the uptime. So yes, I think Peter Reed is going to explain the situation.
Well, I'm not going to explain the situation. What I'm going to say is that our uptime is in excess of 90%, but there are times when the technology has glitches, and it may be what you're doing on the online, whether it's on the ATM or at home on a computer. But if you're having a challenge, please call a member engagement, and they will actually help you to go through the transaction. If it's an immediate transaction and you want to get it done at that very moment, I think that's the best option. But the truth is, with technology, it is something that, can be a hit or miss dependent on the telephone lines and all the other variables that go into delivering the technological solution. So please, when you have a challenge, please call the member engagement and they will help you to execute your transaction.
Thank you. Even as high as it is,
Yes.
even as high as it is, we still pay very close attention to the uptime, and so.
Yeah, uptime is very high, in the 90s, but it
But
could
it's
be
still not. It's still not 100,
Not
and we
100,
understand that creates difficulties for some folks. Thank you, Peter. Terry Lewis from Kingston says VM is obviously in aggressive growth mode. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were calling me. VM is obviously in aggressive growth mode and is doing exciting things to take up more space in the financial sector. That's not really our objective, but anyway. In just a few words, how would you describe the vision of where you want VM to go and become? Well, Terry, we've written you 100 pages on that. So, be sure to get the online copy. But I'll ask Courtney to just succinctly give us the vision.
Yeah, well, I think you directed well, Chair. So the vision that we have stated, it's on page, I don't even know the page isn't even numbered, but page 2 of the book says that we aim to be, the vision is where we'd like to go. We aim to be a leading Caribbean-based member-focused organization. So what that really means is that we expect to be a strong regional entity that's member-focused, that's known for delivering excellent customer service. We expect to maintain our mutuality, and we have said that what we want to be known for, a newspaper headlines of the future, to say is that we have been impactful in transforming lives by helping people to achieve financial well-being. What does that mean? It means that people should have insured with us, saved with us, borrowed to acquire their homes from us, raised capital for their businesses from VM, prepared for retirement with us, invested to send their children to school with us. So anything that represents financial advancement of financial well-being, we want to have facilitated that, not only for people in Jamaica, but for people right across the Caribbean region, not only for people who speak English, but for the French, Dutch, Spanish-speaking Caribbean as well. So that's our vision.
Good. Thank you. Essentially, our vision is a successful member, and that's you. And so everything that we do goes into that consideration. How do we deliver those services to you, but how do we also ensure that we create a strong and sustainable organization that can look after you and your children and your children's needs well into the future. So that's our objective. Yes, sir.
Yes. Good afternoon. I am Daniel Smith, and I have been around for a long while, from teenager until now. I'm not quite sure what you're saying in that VM was, core business was building society, home ownership.
Sure.
And you have diversified.
Yes.
Are you going towards being a bank?
Not necessarily.
What are you doing?
Because as I think we've tried to articulate, and we probably need to do a better job of that, is that we are going to where we think our customers need us to be. So if the objective is to provide solutions for our customers, it is where we feel that we can do a very good job of that and also maintain our sustainability. So if we don't feel that the best way to serve our customers is through a bank or through a brokerage house.
But there has to be a name.
I'm sorry?
There has to be a name.
A name, what do you mean?
That you classify yourself as.
Oh, we are a financial institution. We are a mutual financial organization.
So take away the building society, that's done.
Okay, no, it's not done. No, it's not done. Our largest and more successful subsidiary, now that we are the VM Group, is the VM Building Society. The VM Building Society still remains.
But when I have discussion there, I don't get that feel, you know. I understand what you're saying. like someone has said, when you speak here,
Yes.
it's different from when you go inside the bank.
So they don't
the
talk to you
office.
about building society matters?
Yes, but remember, I'm around from I'm a teenager. You know?
Yes.
So the feeling then and now is completely different.
Right, but I'm trying to understand because what I'm saying is the building society is very much at the center of our business. There are other businesses like VM Investments Limited, which is our investment arm or investment banking arm. There's VM Wealth Management, which looks after the wealth accumulation and the wealth protection of folks. There's VM Money Transfer Services that deals with remittances and incoming money and so on. But these are all businesses that are central to our future. And the building society is key. So perhaps it is that when Courtney speaks about the integration of all of these units to help serve you better, it's not as distinct as only having the building society.
Right.
But the fact is that all of them represent possible solutions for things that you want to do. So it should not, ultimately what we want is that it shouldn't matter, what we call it to you. You want to get a solution. You want your money looked after. You want to send your money. You want to bring your money. You want to change your money. We are here for you. That's what we're here for. Okay, thank you. I hope that helps.
Good afternoon.
Good
My
afternoon.
name is Carolyn O'Connor. I came in late, so I might be asking a question that you probably already answered. But I remember, I think it was last year when I came to the meeting, you had talked about the Visa debit card. So I wanted to know somebody had asked it online, because I was online. I want to know, is VM planning to do Visa debit? I heard yes the last time.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, how soon will
Right.
it be? Because I'm kind of tired of having to transfer my money to other places where I can do transactions, So I wanted to know, is VM really planning? It's been a year, I think. It's been a long time. So, yeah, please answer.
All right, I'm really planning to deliver a debit card, hopefully before the year ends. A Visa debit card, so that you can do your shopping or you can, whatever. The truth is, it's not as simple as we hope it would be. And therefore, we have different partners for different parts of it. We have to make sure the security aspect of it is top notch, because that's paramount to us and to you. But we are going to do an international debit card and we've started to work and working assiduously. And I am the project sponsor, so.
What's your name?
Peter. Peter Reed, and my email is peter.reed@myvmgroup.com.
I've clocked it in my head. All right.
Peace and
And
love.
also, I should just give a commendation to VM overall. You are, in fact, my financial institution of choice, to be very honest. And I just told them when I was coming in, I've been selling VM to my co-workers, especially when we do, you get paid. I normally get paid a day earlier than everybody else, or 2 days. So they're always asking me. So I said, no, man, you need to come and open an account with VM. So kudos to VM, the service. I'm an online person, so I hardly go into branch. So I don't experience a lot of no downtime, actually. So kudos to you. The service is good, and I'm enjoying your service. All right?
I think, yeah, it's back. And I'm going to write down the name for you. You hear? Yes, man. Right, we write it down. Okay. Amanda Wilson Mighty asked, why is the mortgage rate increased so frequently? It has increased twice in the past 6 months. But Amanda, you have to go back further than 6 months, though, to be fair, over the period. But this year has been particularly challenging. I'll ask Courtney to just address that issue.
Thank you very much. Before I go to Amanda's question, just to say to Ms. Carolyn, not only you have taken Peter's name, but we will note you so that you are the first customer to receive the new Visa debit card. Yeah? So good. Okay, so Amanda, good question. And this question is being asked by, I'm sure, by all our mortgage customers and those of other institutions as well. you would have to go back to my presentation earlier in which I spoke about the high inflation in Jamaica and worldwide, and the fact that central banks have been using monetary policy to address inflation. The whole idea is that if they tighten liquidity, then there's less money chasing the same set of goods, so that is a way to have inflation brought under control. The central bank's main aim is to have, in Jamaica, our inflation rate range between 4 to 6%. It peaked at over 11%,
Yes.
Devon? And the monetary policy actions being implemented since 2021 have been effective in bringing inflation back down. The last time we heard it was for April, 5.7, 5.8%. So how has that impacted our mortgage rates? The Bank of Jamaica sends signals to the market about through the monetary policy in terms using what is called the policy rate. The policy rate is what they pay to deposit-taking institutions for funds that we invest with the Bank of Jamaica. In September 2021, that interest rate was 0.5%, half of a percent. And it has been gradually increased, with the last increase being 7% in around November of 2022. What has resulted from that is that the deposit rates across the industry have increased significantly. Many deposits are attracting interest rates significantly in excess of the 7%, because it's a BOJ that's paying 7%. The others have to pay 8, 9, 10%, 11%, depending on how much money and how long it has been invested for. So that has driven up the cost of our funds, because we pay, if you, Amanda, wish to invest some funds with us, now we would pay you a higher interest rate than what we paid in September 2021, much significantly higher. So our cost of funds have increased. We are margin gatherers to maintain a certain minimum level of profitability. We have therefore had to adjust our lending rates. Have we adjusted it by the same pace as which our deposit rates have increased? No, because although the deposit rates have moved from average 3%, 4% for those CD rates to 10, 11%, we have moved our mortgage rates from approximately 8% to now just over 9% in the two movements, right? So we have moved by, I think, a total of, Paul, in the first time 0.5%, second time 1%. But total movement of less than 2% when our deposit rates have moved several times that. So our margins have actually gotten thinner over this period, but we had to do that to maintain viability. All right? Thank you very much for your question.
Thank you. Thank you, Courtney. Okay, I think that we have covered most of the questions. And of course, as we wrap, you can always just pick out any of us and ask us whatever questions you want. And we'll continue the discussion. Just look for folks with this pin, or otherwise, if they have a bright grapefruit jacket on, that's a tell sometimes.
Okay, so there's a question raised earlier, Chairman, which we didn't answer, my bad. The question was, please explain what we mean by RTGS.
Oh, yes.
Okay. RTGS is real-time gross settlement. That's an bank transfer facility, electronic facility operated by the central bank. And it is meant to facilitate large transfers of typically in excess of 1 million. That's what we're using it for now. If you use it for amounts lower than that, that is still possible, but you pay a higher fee than for the ACH transfers. But it's for electronic transfers. The RTGS settlements are done how many times each day? Right, the settlement is, Alison, thank you, Alison, within 2 hours of the transfer being done. So several times each day, all right? And so most commercial transactions are being settled now by RTGS, all right? We're not allowing, that's why the check issuance has declined significantly.
Thank you. Thank you, Courtney. Okay, so I'm going to bring this section to a close. I just want to say that, ladies and gentlemen, I imagine that it feels much more dynamic in terms of our progress than it has in previous times. We ourselves feel that, and we are excited about that. That's the objective. The objective is to get you as many types of solutions as we think it takes to make you successful. But this can sometimes be a little confusing, the financial group versus the mutual and so on. So anybody not understanding that, please feel free to talk to us about that. The idea is to preserve all the things that are good that you remember from your Victoria Mutual Building Society to VM Building Society, which still exists, which is still the branches that you see out there, but to wrap in new age services, digital services with the same customer friendliness and warmth. And that's our objective. We don't always get it right, but that's what we're after. And we ask you to come along with us for that journey. So thank you very much for coming. This is not your AGM, as we had told you. We don't have our first AGM until next year, but we felt it necessary to have this dialogue, and we hope you have benefited from that. So I want to thank the team members. I want to thank the board. I want to thank especially the members and the production team for a great job. And please join us after for refreshments. So members, let me ask for AOB. Happy birthday to Natasha, who was our chief of staff, who gave us that elegant prayer. Thank you, and happy birthday, Natasha. You're finally able to have a drink at the bar. You're 18? 18. Okay. So, there being no other business, members, our agenda is now concluded. I now move that we terminate the special members meeting of the VM group. Could I have a motion? Thank you. Seconded? Yes, sir. Mr. Burnett, thank you very much. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any against? Any abstentions? The ayes have it. And thank you very much, and safe travels home.
Thank you very much, sir.
We all have big dreams and even bigger hills to climb. This life is one big road with many curves and winds. When you need a friend to guide you to the strength you have inside, VM will be your guide, always by your side. We're a firm foundation here to stay. Build you a brighter way, yeah. Transform your everyday. Turn your dreams to reality. VM makes you all you can be, yes. Transform your everyday. Transform your everyday.
With pride for the past,
we build to the future.
The heights that you grow,
give strength to the roots.
We believe in your freedom.
We dance when you move.
VM, we're here for you.
We are written into this land. You are written into our story. Together stronger we stand. Your win is our victory.
We're a firm foundation here to stay.
Build you a brighter way. Transform your everyday. Oh, turn your dreams to reality. VM makes you all that you can be. Yeah, transform your everyday. Oh, we're a firm foundation here to stay. Build you a brighter way. Transform your everyday. Turn your dreams to reality. VM makes you all that you can be. Yeah, transform your everyday. Transform your everyday.
VM Group. Transform your everyday.